My name is Phan. I'm a senior lecturer at the Department of Chemical Engineering, Curtin University. I would consider myself a researcher as my most interest. I do a lot of different things, but most of them are very novel, some very significant, some not so significant, but I enjoy discovering the new phenomena and so on. We came up with a new method to deal with the oil spill. It's fundamentally different from whatever practice that the industry are using at the moment. Potentially, it's going to be safer, cheaper, and definitely going to be more environmentally friendly. So yes, this is still at a very early stage, but we see a very big potential for the industry. So the method is based on a new phenomena, the interface of phenomena that we discovered in our lab about years ago. It's the first time that we discovered that somehow water can float on oil. And we think, oh, it's wonderful because nobody had reporting that. And then we had to sit back and say, okay, so what's the big deal about it? What can we do with, this is certainly the new phenomena that we are the first one to discover it. But then we had to think about, what is the application of that? And because I had an environmental engineering background as well, so the accident in the Gulf of Mexico was always sort of in the back of my mind. So I look at it and say, oh, maybe we can apply to that kind of situation. So first of all, we had to look at the current practice. Okay, so we know that when we have water, and the oil usually stays on top of water. So in order to break down the oil, usually the current method is break down the oil layer and just try to bring the oil to the bottom, where they had a bacteria or other processes to break down the oil. In our case, we said, well, just keep the oil on the top of the layer of the ocean, and we put another droplet on top of that, and those droplets will contain the decomposing agent and going to break down the oil on the surface. It's actually not the chemicals, it's more to play with the physical phenomena. It's called the surface tension. Any liquid and liquid have a surface tension, and depend on the ratio, depend on the chemical, the surface tension is going to be very strong or very weak. Now, if we somehow can maintain and create a right combination between those surface tension, then water can float. I had to emphasize that it's not going to float in a big volume, very tiny, but that's good enough to apply for a method to solve a real problem. Well, the moment that I was most excited about the whole process is when I got the modeling working, because even though in the lab we've seen that and we sort of look at it and we verify it, but then the modeling is very difficult, and it took me like almost 6 months working on the mathematical modeling to verify the process. Yes, I consider myself as an innovator, and as a researcher, yes, I'm looking for a challenge, and yeah, sometimes, honestly, some of the challenge is too big to get a solution, but occasionally, yes, we get some very innovative solution, and it changed the way we see things. It changed the way the scientists and the science in general and the society see certain things. And you look at some of the technology advanced, some of them came by accident anyway, but the innovator at the beginning is, well, we're looking for a challenge first.